Hi, everyone. We're live. I think we're live. If you are here and can hear me, I don't have anybody here yet. Okay. The RØDECaster video, which is this device right here. I'm going to be talking about it today. And as people start to trickle in, I have some fun things to cover today that most of them are RØDECaster video related. Some of them are other streaming devices related. So as people start to trickle in, if you have any questions, feel free to place them in the chat. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about just live stream setups in general. So although I am focusing on the RØDECaster video today, I'm happy to answer any general live stream questions, and then we can dive into the RØDECaster video. Also, this is my first time live streaming with the RØDECaster video, so let me know how things sound, and also if my audio is synced up with my video. So I'm hoping it is. I have it set to, I don't know if you can see this. There's a glare from my lights, but the audio is offset by about half a second. Ooh, hindsight. Yeah, we're going to get to that. What are the best auto switching settings that you have found? Are you talking about the RØDECaster video specifically? Because I'm going to talk about another device that has auto switching that I actually picked up. It's been a couple years now. I did a video on it. It's the Roland VR1 HD. I'm going to talk about that. It's the first device that I'm aware of that has auto switching capabilities at the consumer level. I'm sure there are devices out there that are super expensive that probably has that functionality, but I'm going to go over that as well. So as other people continue to join, my name's Edholm. I own a video production company, and I'm using these devices all the time with clients. So not only am I recording YouTube videos with them and also experimenting them, but I'm also using them with my clients. So the videos that I share on this channel, and also what I'm going to be talking about today, is how I use the RØDECaster video and other live streaming devices for my own personal work. What I found about the RØDECaster video is the capabilities are pretty extensive. I don't even think I've scratched the surface. So feel free to shoot any questions my way, and I'll do my best to answer them. You might also give me ideas of what to test and the types of videos to create in the future. So I do have a couple of other RØDECaster video related videos in the works. You'll probably see one out this Sunday. It's about using wireless mics with the RØDECaster video. And I actually have a workaround so that you if you don't have a Rode specific wireless microphone system, you can still use them with the RØDECaster video. In fact, you can attach up to 4 wireless microphones. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I'm going to post that on Sunday. Also, I've done a bunch of videos already about the RØDECaster video. I've tested auto switching. I've looked at the file breakdown and done a bunch of other videos. So if you're interested in those, I have a playlist. After this video is complete, I'll post it in the description. But other than that, yes, I see that auto switching. Auto switching is a hot topic. All right, let's go ahead and dive in as people join in. Don't be shy. Feel free to say hello. And also, if you're watching the replay of this, then drop a comment down below and let me know who you are and the type of live streaming that you do and the types of questions that you're looking to answer. So first of all, let's do it. You can see right here on my desk, I have the RØDECaster video. I'm obviously live streaming to YouTube. I'm going to talk about the Roland VR1 HD. I'm going to talk about this very briefly. Oh, look at the size. It's a lot heavier than the RØDECaster video, size-wise. It's pretty comparable. So I picked up the Roland VR1 HD because I do a lot of video production on my own. This has 2 XLR mic inputs on it. There's one on the side and one on the back. You can connect up to 3 cameras. It has a monitor HDMI output, and it also has an HDMI through. And let's see, it's probably focusing on me. All right, well, it's not focusing for me, but I have a whole video about this. This has auto switching. So the Roland VR1 HD, the reason why I picked it up is because when you have auto switching enabled, anytime somebody speaks into a predefined microphone, then it's going to trigger whatever camera you have paired up to that microphone. So I was very excited about this auto switching functionality years ago. I'm going to say it's like 3 or 4 years maybe. And, unfortunately, Roland, the functionality in this device it wasn't something that I ever felt comfortable using with clients. It also, you cannot record externally to an SSD, and just some other limitations. But hey, it's been a couple years now, so we do expect things to advance. I should check to see if there is a firmware update for this device. Firmware updates on this device are kind of a nightmare because if you mess it up, you basically have a dead unit. But Roland had a missed opportunity with his device, in my opinion. So as you know, the RØDECaster video has auto switching. So when I bought the RØDECaster video, that's kind of the expectation I had with the device, was that you could map microphone to a camera, and anytime somebody spoke in a camera or in a microphone, then it would switch to that camera angle. I have done 2 test videos on auto switching specifically. It's random. In fact, after I did the first video, Rode did reach out and let me know that you can set certain priorities based on the camera angle. I did that, but at the end of the day, they have an algorithm, an AI algorithm that does the switching for you, and it's pretty random. So as far as the one-to-one switching relationship, Roland still has it better, and this functionality is a couple years old. For all of you that reach out and ask about, okay, you've got a 3-camera podcast set up. So Hindsight 101, I use a similar one. I've done extensive videos about auto switching specifically, including all of the settings that Rode recommended for me. I gave this feedback to them based on the results, but I recorded a client interview, and I shared about a 5-minute clip of the auto switching based on the settings that Rode shared with me. So you definitely want to go check out that video. It's in my RØDECaster video playlist, and you can see for yourself what that auto switching looks like. It's a 2-person interview actually right here, and I have a wide angle and 2 close-up angles. So I do have that 3-camera podcast set up. So that's good. For all of you reaching out about live streaming, the Streamer X, I can't recommend this enough for if you're just starting out with streaming. I really enjoy the Streamer X. Also done a bunch of videos about this one. It has 1 XLR input, 1 camera input. I do have a workaround where you can pair up to 2 wireless microphones with this if you want. The limitation here is it does not accept USB-C microphones. So the Streamer X came out, and then the Mackie Mainstream came out. So this is another live streaming device. Again, bunch of videos on these. I know I'm giving you a little history, but I have a point to all this. The Mackie Mainstream has 1 XLR input. However, it has 1 HDMI in, so 1 camera, but you can also attach USB-C microphones and cameras to this device. So this came out after the Streamer X. I gave this a shot. Not 100% happy with it. Honestly, it's really clunky. But here's the thing. Mackie Mainstream was sold. It was purchased by another company. And you're going to recognize this name. Right around the time that the Mackie Mainstream came out, the Rode purchased Mackie. And what I was excited about at the time, and this has probably been about a year now. I think it was last December of 23. I was thinking, now that Rode owns Mackie, I think we're going to see a combination of what we're seeing in these 2 devices, the Mackie Mainstream and the Rode Streamer X. My prediction was that we're going to start to see the functionality in these 2 devices combined. And again, this is all my personal theory, but now we are in 2024 and we have the RØDECaster video, which in my opinion is a very nice combination of the Mackie Mainstream and the Rode Streamer X. So that's how I think we got here. Rode is capitalizing on the market. And hey, James. Yes, a complete, yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah, so Rode is capitalizing on the market. I really love what they're doing with their devices. I'm going to point out though that they are introducing proprietary settings, meaning that right now with the Rodecaster Video, you can only use certain USB-C microphones and cameras. There is a list of these compatible mics and cameras on their website, and I did include them in a recent video. But all signs are leading to Rode really capitalizing on the AV combo device market for the prosumer and consumer like you and I, who do this for a living, stream online, have multi-camera setups, use multiple microphones. And so, that's good and bad. They do have specific settings for microphones like the Shure SM7B built in, but I do wish that Rode would unlock this. There isn't another competitor that's even close to them right now. And so my hope is that they're going to unlock a lot of those challenges. But the amount of functionality that's available to you in these small size devices, I mean, look how small this is. Here's the Rodecaster, here's the Streamer X, and there's the Rodecaster Video. So these are getting smaller and smaller. I have officially replaced my Rodecaster Pro 2 and ATEM Mini Pro ISO setup with the Rodecaster Video, with the understanding that if I do need additional microphone inputs, then I would have to either piggyback the Rodecaster Pro 2 onto the Rodecaster Video or just use my other setup, the bigger setup. But all in all, I'm able to travel with the Rodecaster Video setup, and it is pretty nice. James, thank you. Is there a complete beginner guide to using a Rodecaster, the video, the Rodecaster Pro, the Rodecaster Video, and how big of a deal is it not to have? Okay, let's talk about 4K. 4K is great, but I'm not aware of a device yet that can actually handle 4K streaming. So most people are streaming from their phone using self-service, using their cell signal. If you think about worldwide, all the people who are on the internet, I do think a lot of people, we're not to that point yet where people can even handle, or infrastructure or like platforms like YouTube or anybody can even handle live streaming in 4K. It's just a ton of bandwidth. And I think that the user experience is not going to be great as a result. So most of the time you're streaming in 720. So do you need 4K for 720? Absolutely not. If you're lucky right now, recording of this live stream, 1080 is going to be the highest to get the best quality when you're live streaming. When it comes to the Rodecaster Video, even the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, if you're recording to an external SSD, the highest quality you're going to get in that recording is 1080. So if I want 4K, I'm not going to be streaming in 4K or recording in 4K through these devices. But me personally, if I want 4K footage, then I'm actually still recording directly into my cameras. So that's the way that I get 4K footage. It doesn't mean I'm streaming 4K because there isn't a way for any device or, frankly, streaming platforms to even accommodate 4K at this point. So in my opinion, it's not a big deal. You don't need 4K if you're live streaming. 1080 is actually more than adequate. What cameras are you using? Right now, I am using 2 FX3s. The reason why I'm using FX3s is, especially for interviews and live streams, the cameras aren't going to overheat. You get a nice high quality image. These cameras are amazing. I've had them for a couple of years now, and no issues with them. I can record internal, anything I throw at these cameras, including autofocus. They're fantastic. So completely reliable. I am oftentimes on site with clients. I'm by myself. I don't have anybody there to help me. And to be able to set up a camera in a corner and know that it's going to record, that it's going to maintain focus, and that it's not going to overheat, it just, I I used to use cameras that had like a 30-minute time limit and all that other stuff. I'm dating myself a little bit, but just the fact that we're here and now with these cameras. And if I'm not worried about having 4K files, then I'm just streaming and or recording in 1080, and it gives me fantastic quality. The Sony ZV-E1 is constantly regarded as a great vlogging camera. Have you ever used one with the RØDECaster video? I have not used one specifically with the RØDECaster video, but we just talked about cameras overheating. I do believe that the ZV-E1 has overheating issues if you are streaming or recording in 4K. So you don't need to be streaming in 4K. So if you're using the ZV-E1, I have the Sony a6700, which has overheating issues. The way I circumvent that with live streams is I just use HD or 1080, and I'm streaming in 30 frames per second. So the ZV-E1 should be fine. It is a great vlogging camera. It's a great camera. Any camera these days, they're really unbelievable. So although I haven't used one with the RØDECaster video specifically, I think that camera will be fine. Just make sure you're using 1080. Okay. We are talking about the RØDECaster video today. Just a reminder that I get a lot of general live stream setup questions. So if you have just some general questions, some of you have already asked those, feel free to place those in the chat and we'll get them answered for you. I'm going to talk about the Streamer X. So if you are just starting out with live streaming, if you're on conference calls all day, if you're meeting with clients virtually, I record virtual podcasts using the tool Riverside. You can also use Zoom. You can use StreamYard. What else is out there? Ecamm Live. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can record virtually, connect with other people virtually, and have, host a podcast virtually. If you are a one microphone, one camera kind of person, I highly recommend the Streamer X. The limitation on the Streamer X is it does not accommodate USB-C microphones. I haven't seen that firmware update come out. So maybe in a V2 of this device, we might see it be able to accommodate USB-C microphones. And my theory, based on what I explained before, was because now Rode owns the Mackie functionality, all the hardware, everything else that comes with that, with those devices. So the Mackie mainstream does accommodate USB-C microphones. But look, if you're looking to grow in the live stream world or whatever it is that you're doing, I recommend just getting a microphone that has an XLR and USB-C output. That's the Shure MV7. It's the Samson Q9U. The Samson Q9U is a fantastic microphone. I think you can get it for under $100 these days. Used, you can probably get it for less. But you can use XLR microphones with the Streamer X. The other thing about the Streamer X is any XLR microphone can be used with this device. That means that you're not going to run into the limitations that Rode is placing on USB-C microphones. So the RØDECaster video, I'll just repeat, you can only use certain USB-C microphones. And so, XLR is the way to go anyway. So I do recommend if you get the Streamer X, invest in an XLR microphone, and you can use your phone. You can use any camera. The FX3s are super expensive. The ZV-E1s, ZV-E10s are great cameras. You can pick up great used cameras as long as it has an HDMI out with a clean signal. Most cameras do nowadays. You're going to be in good shape when it comes to live streaming. How bad is Zoom compared to other live stream platforms? Also, have you used any OBS integration? So the thing about Zoom is everybody knows how to use it. Everybody's comfortable with it. I do not like to use it if I'm recording video or audio and I'm going to use it for any type of podcast or video recording. And the reason why is because the quality just isn't that great. It doesn't matter how great your camera is. The quality of those recordings are subpar. I use Riverside for anything that I want to do professionally or for my own personal podcast, I'm using Riverside right now. I have, if you want to give it a try, I'll place some links here in the chat, and I have a coupon code also for Riverside. So that's an option if you're interested. And I'll place that information in the chat. As far as OBS integration, this is the easiest way to explain OBS. So the RØDECaster video is going to be able to handle multiple cameras and audio inputs with hardware. OBS can handle multiple cameras and audio inputs with software. That's really the big difference there. OBS, and pretty sure it's still free. If you are not using a Mac, I think OBS is great. I'm not a big fan of OBS on Mac. And I'm just going to admit, it's been a couple years since I've actually used it, but the user experience is a lot better on a non-Mac machine. I prefer just to use hardware. I like physical buttons. I like to be able to switch back and forth and set up different settings and have everything right here. Especially if I'm on site with a client, I either bring a laptop or I bring a RØDECaster video, which if you have the settings set up ahead of time, you just bring the RØDECaster video with you and you have audio and video inputs. You have some settings you can fine tune directly on the device if you need to, and you're all ready to go. Hi, everyone, by the way. Thanks for tuning in. I see everybody has some great questions and you're doing your live streams. Let me know down below, how are you using live streams? Are you using the RØDECaster video? What devices are you using? What are you looking to get help with? Yeah, let me know. I love the RØDECaster video, but it is hard to have animated lower thirds, animated backgrounds for super sources, or stingers, bumpers with transparency for transitions. Hey, fair enough. I have not experimented too much with lower thirds, but I'm pretty sure you can design any type of overlay that you want. So the thing that I have found with the RØDECaster video is that I think this is more for the intermediate, closer to the expert type of a live stream user. I think there's a ton of functionality, and I don't know what GAIPS. I'm not sure what your experience level is. And again, I have not experimented personally with overlays, but it's my understanding that you can overlay any type of design that you want, which could include lower thirds. I found that some of the functionality in the RØDECaster video seems so advanced in some cases for me. And this is a great example because I don't use overlays often. When I go to those settings, it's kind of overwhelming because I'm really not sure where to start. So anyway, I'd like to know, if you're using them now, why isn't the RØDECaster video accommodating lower thirds? What are you running into? I don't think anything is pre-programmed in this device, but I think you can create custom designs. The Elgato Stream Deck. I have not played with the Elgato Stream Deck at all. Before I had the Streamer X, I was just using a Cam Link. Basically, I had a USB-C microphone that was plugging directly into my computer, and then I had I was just using the webcam on my laptop or a USB-C. You can connect most cameras to your laptop or your computer using USB-C. You don't always have to have HDMI. So if I did have a compatible camera, then I would just attach. So that took up 2 ports on my computer. And then as I learned more and became more comfortable with live streaming, that's when I started down the A10 Mini Pro ISO route and getting the RØDECaster Pro 2 and kind of diving into all of that. But I think the Elgato Stream Deck, is that discontinued? James, do you know? I can't say that with 100% certainty, but I want to say that the Stream Deck might be discontinued. So let me know in the comments. All right, how am I using the RØDECaster video now? Well, this is the first time I've live streamed with it, but all you need to do to live stream is connect the RØDECaster video to a computer that has Wi-Fi or some sort of internet connection. But apart from that, the way that I'm using the RØDECaster video right now is for multicam setups. So 2 or 3 cameras. I love taking this device on site and recording externally to an SSD. What's nice about that is for all of you who handle multicam recordings, the challenge I had with managing that setup with the RØDECaster Pro 2 and the A10 Mini Pro ISO is that when it came to the edit, I had to sync the audio coming out of the RØDECaster Pro 2 with the audio coming out of the A10 Mini Pro ISO. So first of all, the audio out of the A10 Mini Pro ISO is awful, in my opinion, or I just never was able to fine tune it. So I would use that as scratch audio. That way I didn't have to worry about it. But when you hit record on the RØDECaster Pro 2 and hit record on the A10 Mini Pro ISO, the files never start at the exact same time. They might be really close, but oftentimes it took a lot of time on my part to sync up all of those files. So then I was in a position to do a multicam edit. I am also using AI tools to help with my multicam edits at this point. I'm using Firecut with Adobe Premiere Pro. So my point is, if you're going to use AI, if you're going to edit any multicam edit or any multicam setup, it's so helpful to have all the files start at the exact same time, and that's what the RØDECaster video gives me. I'm able to record to an external SSD. When I hit the record button, which by the way is right here, when I hit that record button, all files start at the same time. If you're interested in learning about the file breakdown that comes out of the RØDECaster video, along with how all of those files map to all the devices that you can attach to this device, microphones, cameras, Bluetooth, there's all sorts of different ways to connect devices to the RØDECaster video and either record or stream. So I did do a video about that one as well, if you want to go check that out. Okay, James, no. Oh, Mark II with Stream Deck? Okay, I'll have to check it out and experiment with that. And any future upgrades in your live stream setup, lighting, audio, video? Well, it depends on what comes out next. The biggest thing I've been working on the past month now or so, 4 to 6 weeks, is testing the RØDECaster video here in the studio, just putting it through the paces, making sure I'm 100% comfortable to actually use it with clients. I think I recorded my first client video and just depended on the RØDECaster video solely 100% was about 10 days ago. So this is the new and improved version of my setup. Lighting, I don't have anything new as far as lighting goes. I'm still using Godox lighting that the lighting I use doesn't have any fan noise. The lights are a little larger in size, but I like them. And then when I'm on site with clients, I typically just take advantage of natural lighting coming in through windows. And then I do have some panel lights that I bring with me. They're, I think they're Elgato. They're awesome. I've had them for a couple years now. I just charge them in advance and they'll last for at about 50% for like an hour and a half. So that's what I'm using for lighting right now. I'm constantly looking for a minimalist 3-cam setup for live streaming using green screens. So I do not have any experience using green screens. However, the RØDECaster video supposedly has the ability to handle green screens. Oh man, that's just another element that I haven't even ventured down. Another adventure, right, to add to the list of capabilities. And where are you for a 3-cam, multicam setup using green screens? Like, what does your studio look like? Is it just a single background? Do you have like a corner with green screens? I'm curious to know what that setup might look like. And this camera, I'm using the Sony 24 millimeter f 1.8, I think it is, or 1.4. I love this lens. It's my favorite lens. Okay, I take that back. The 35 millimeter is my favorite lens, but for shots like this, I really love the 24 millimeter. And then this camera right here is the Sigma 24-70, the old one. There's a new version out now. There's a Mark II out now. These are the Mark I. They hold focus. They do great. No need to upgrade unless I have to. So all of this equipment is really, really nice. As far as my current setup, I'll just get back to that. I am going on site and recording clients sitting at their desks with guests. Here in the studio, I have this round table set up. I don't know if you can see it here. It's got this round table set up with a couple microphones. I have this mounted to a side table. This is a fan. And then that way, I know you probably can't see it, but I have like a side table that I mount my microphones to. The reason why I do that is because I can move the microphones wherever I want, but people tend to bang on the table or move around. And so having these mounted on a separate side table, my microphones, helps to avoid the capture of that type of tapping and moving around on the table. These are also the new Elgato Pro arms. Loving them. Loving them so far. So if you're in the market for a new microphone arm, I do recommend these. I haven't done a video about them yet. I think there's tons of videos out there about them already. What's nice is they're, I don't know the technical term, but there's gas in here that you can tighten or loosen, very technical terms here that I'm using, but it's holding a heavy microphone like the Shure SM7B exactly where I want it, and I can move it around freely, and it's pretty, pretty nice. So yeah, if I'm here in the studio, I'm now using the RØDECaster video by itself to record 2-person interviews. A client of mine did just reach out yesterday, and they want to have 2 guests for a podcast recording that we're doing next week. This means that there'll be a total of 3 people. I'm just going to take my RØDECaster Pro 2 and my ATEM Mini Pro ISO and just use that setup for that type of a scenario. But it does kind of encourage me to see if I can do something and accommodate a setup like that using the RØDECaster video. So what I could do is use 2 XLR microphones and 1 USB-C microphone in that case. But clients like to use more professional looking microphones in their opinion. So if I have time to test it, and if I'm okay with the outcome using my Samsung Q9U or maybe even my Shure MV7 to utilize that here on the RØDECaster video, I might do that. So what I'm talking about is the RØDECaster video has 2 XLR inputs, and then over here, it has some USB-C inputs that you can use for additional microphones or cameras if you'd like. So that could be an option. We'll just see. Sometimes I like to just use what I'm 100% comfortable with, especially with clients. And then once I do testing here in the studio and I get to a point where I feel comfortable about the quality, then I might just use the RØDECaster video. All right. Oh, you have a 15-foot wide wall with green screen fabric. 3 cams, 1 wide, 2 close-ups. All backgrounds have a cityscape video background that is slightly blurred. Okay. What are you using now as your live stream device? Are you happy with it as far as the green screen goes? Do you get the green haze? I guess that's kind of why I've always avoided it. I haven't taken the time to really learn how to reduce that green haze that you get in people's hair sometimes. So curious to know what you're using. GAIPS. Pablo, Zoom F6 would work wonderful. Right? The Zoom F6. Having 6 XLR only needing to be hooked up with a type of cable, super flexible. What is the Zoom F6? I'm curious to know. Or maybe I'm not making the connection. So yeah, let me know what the Zoom F6 is. Interesting. All right, so that's a super flexible device, it sounds like that. Ah, Soru, a Soru audio recorder. I'll have to check that out. The Rodecaster video, I think, is about $1,200. Uh, I I hesitated for a minute. I thought that price was on the high side simply because I already have the Rodecaster Pro 2 and the A10 Mini Pro ISO. So I really had to think about whether or not that upgrade, or is it even an upgrade? I wasn't sure when I made the purchase. But I will say that now that I have had the Rodecaster video, that price point feels appropriate. It replaces two devices and combines everything into one, plus gives me a bunch of additional functionality that I can use for client work. That's how I make money. So anytime I can make an investment that will help to reduce the amount of time I'm spending on the back end for my workflows, or even the amount of equipment that I have to carry on site, or hey, if you're like me, I'm always setting up equipment, always. I feel like I'm cleaning up and putting equipment away all the time. And I guess it's life as somebody who works in this profession, tearing down, cleaning up, moving things around. So, I only have one device now that I have to clean up and tear down and move around. So to me, the price point was questionable before I first purchased the Rodecaster video. But now that I've had it, I'm really glad that I bought it. Excellent. So that's how I'm using this device at this time. There's a bunch of other things that you can do. You can set up scenes on the Rodecaster video. You can hook it to speakers. You can use picture-in-picture. You can do overlays. There's so much more that I want to experiment with when it comes to using this device. But for me, it meets all my needs of multicam setups. And that's how I'm using it right now. So, any other questions about live streaming in general? Any other questions about the Rodecaster video specifically? If it's something that I'm interested in testing, I might do a video about it in the future. If you weren't here at the beginning of this recording, my next video is probably going to be about using wireless microphones with the Rodecaster video, because you can pair some directly to this device, but there are ways to get around the limitations. And in fact, I have a way to use up to 4 wireless microphones or transmitters with the Rodecaster video, and I'll be sharing that video with you all in probably a few days. So Ecamm Live. I have used Ecamm Live a little bit. I prefer hardware. I prefer to manage all of my inputs using hardware and then just stream directly to YouTube like this, rather than having to also manage software. It's just a comfort level, just because I haven't spent a lot of time using the software. So Ecamm Live, no haze, but run into other problems with, oh, I see. This is with the with your green screen. Okay. Yeah, evaluating whether or not it's worth it to upgrade your equipment is a big one. Many times over my career, I've purchased a new camera thinking it's going to give me better performance in a specific situation. And I will say oftentimes I'm a little disappointed. Every once in a while, things are a little better, but it's really when it comes to green screen, live streaming, switching, anything that has to do with software, you're limited by the software capabilities, of course. Right, and GIPS, no ISO recording. All right, GAIPS. I do wish I knew your first name so I didn't have to use acronyms. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So with the Rodecaster video, you can actually use up to 6 cameras. 6. I recently did a video about this. So what's nice about these USB-C inputs over here on the back is it'll accommodate either 2 cameras or 2 microphones, or you could do 1 camera and 1 microphone. So if you are interested in expanding your video only, you could use up to 6 cameras. if you are attaching webcams to or USB-C cameras to the RØDECaster video, the list is pretty small right now. In fact, I don't have a webcam that's compatible. I have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that's not compatible at this time. So just keep that in mind. You are limited by whatever is compatible when you're using USB-C microphones or cameras. So same with microphones. I can attach up to 4 cabled microphones to the RØDECaster video, 2 XLR, 2 USB-Cs. And as I did mention, if you're going to go the wireless microphone route, you can connect up to 2 transmitters directly to the RØDECaster video, but I found a way to connect up to 4. In fact, I found a way to connect any wireless microphone to the RØDECaster video. So that video is coming soon. I hope I got y'all excited about watching it. Any fun novelty lenses for live stream? No, I'm boring when it comes to lenses. I just really want, if I want a blurry background, I want to be able to do that. And so that's why I personally prefer full frame cameras. I think the FX30 is another great camera. You can run those cameras again for a long period of time and you're not going to have to worry about overheating. That's the great thing about the body that Sony's using for those, what they're calling cinema cameras. But if I didn't have the FX3s already, then I'd probably be using the FX30s. I think they're fantastic. So as far as lenses go, if I want a blurry background, I want to be able to have, the aperture should be able to support that. So a 1.4, 1.8 lens. This lens right here, you can see it still gives you a blurry background, and that's a 2.8 lens. So, but the truth is, if I am recording with a client and I want to make sure that everything looks in focus, then I'm not worried about aperture. I'm actually going to use an f4, maybe even f6, f8, that range, so that you can see everything that's around the people. So I'll use that aperture in like an event setting where there might be multiple people sitting on a panel, and I don't necessarily want to have a blurry background or have my f-stop too low in case it just focuses on one person and then everybody else looks blurry because your f-stop's too low. So I like, in lots of cases with events, I want my f-stop to be higher. I'm not using any fancy lenses. I want everything to be nice and crisp and clear, including the people and the environment that we are hosting that event in. Yes, the FX3 is fantastic. It was used to film the movie The Creator. I'm just using a standard picture profile right now in my FX3s. I'm really happy with the color. If I am doing client work where they're paying me to color grade and have a specific look, then I'm charging as such. But for lots of the clients that I work with, they don't have huge budgets. In fact, I like to be able to have a simplified workflow, take advantage of the color profiles that just comes inherently out of the Sony FX3s, because I can do a lot more with a budget that my clients might have, rather than using all their budget to create like a cinematic looking commercial. I don't know. It just depends on what your client needs are, but that's kind of how I manage certain looks and feels. If you're going to have a specialized lens or if you're going to spend time color grading, then you should be able to charge appropriately for whatever those services are. So excellent. The Creator. I haven't seen that movie. Okay. This is all I had today on live streaming, and everybody asked some really great questions. I appreciate it. If you're watching after the fact, feel free to leave a question down below, and I'll do my best to answer. If it's a more of a long-winded answer, I'll consider including it in a future video. But really, I'm just focused on sharing how I use tech. And, there's tons of different ways to use all these devices. There's a bunch of different setups you can use, which is why I really love this profession. It allows me to be creative, and I can troubleshoot, and I can really flex my my thought processes in my brain about how all of this works. This is the way I'm using it now, and I like to share that with all of you so that you can see my setup. And my hope is to also learn from you all. So if you're doing things differently, or if you found a more streamlined way to do things, please leave that in the comments. I want to hear all about it. The biggest limitations with the Rodecaster video right now is the constraints that Rode has put on the USB-C microphones and webcams and or cameras that you can use with the system. I wish they weren't doing this, and I hope that they are kind of testing it a little bit and everybody speaks up about it and then they stop doing it in the future. But it could go the other way. They could make all of their hardware proprietary so that we can't use whatever microphones we want to use, or we can't use whatever webcams we want to use. And in my opinion, that would be a shame. So that is one limitation. Recording to an external SSD. I do like the quality of the video that's recorded from the A10 Mini Pro ISO a little better. The recorded quality of the Rodecaster video seems a little on the sharper side for me, webcam-ish looking. And if I'm using FX3s, I want to have, I understand that I'm running things through a capture card and that there is going to be some modification to whatever that footage looks like, but it looks like it's just a little too overprocessed for me. So those are the limitations I'm finding right now. Okay, great. Thanks, you all. I've been doing this almost 2 years, this channel. I'm having a blast with it. Yeah, I really appreciate you all tuning in, and I sincerely mean that. And my hope is to learn more, grow this community, show you how I'm using all these devices at the end of the day to make money so that I can make a living. And I've been able to do that. And having this channel on YouTube has been amazing. I've been able to meet incredible people like yourselves, and I'm looking forward to connecting with more of you and learning more about all of this tech that we get to use and have fun with, and learning alongside all of you as well. So if you have a similar channel, if you're talking about similar types of devices that I use, leave your channel URL in the comments below, and I'd be happy to check it out. So if that's it for today, again, thank you all for tuning in. Keep an eye out for upcoming videos. Keep the questions coming, and I'm be happy to do more lives like these. When I find myself getting a lot of questions, especially a lot of similar questions, then I'm happy to hop on and do a live like this and answer any questions you might have. So thanks again. Happy Halloween, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll sign off for now, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.